that was a flying car. Actually, now that I think about all the technology and all that, it's just a matter of time till it exists and you've got like the full automation and stuff.
Some of my clients, they love and hate me for the fact that, they'll try flying private for the first time and will never want to switch back to commercial. So their wallets hate me, but
this saves me time. It saves me mental energy. I can text. I don't have to go through the main freaking airport. I already have my TSA thing. Commercial airlines have been around for how many years? Since like the 30s? Like over 100 years.
They've been around
and I'm like, there's no way that there can't be a future that if all the engines go out versus the only option is to rant some crazy crash landing.
The plane will automatically find the nearest runway and it will communicate to both the passengers and air traffic control. So for those who don't know, air traffic control is the towers that kind of direct traffic in the air. They're making sure that no planes are going to crash into each other and whatnot. So they'll go ahead and notify everyone around that this aircraft is coming in for, a landing, emergency landing, and the aircraft will go and land on its own completely, all powered by AI.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Elevating Beyond. You got me making sure I'm looking into the right camera now, too, by the way. With a two-word mission statement, change lives. I am sitting here today with my good man, Jordan Strum, who is actually, you can explain this amazing private jet company, Fly USA, and I'll explain how we connected. And you said it's one of the second fastest growing companies in the world?
It's the fastest growing private jet company in the US as of right now for this year. And you can type into ChatGPT and search, what is the fastest private jet company, fastest growing private jet company right now, and that'll pop up.
And Jordan has some cool stories to share. Also, we have some great stories to share of even how we met through the company. And then also, the more I got to know Jordan, I learned Jordan has partial ownership now in the company. What's your actual other job title, like owner and then something?
Yeah, I'm a senior aviation advisor.
And how old are you again?
I'm 28 years old.
28 years old, which I think that's really cool as we go through like your story of how you've gotten to where you are just at age 28. And then also now you have ownership in this company.
Correct.
Is amazing. And right off the bat, I know we were talking before about you have a lot of amazing and crazy stories with flying with a lot of very, very high-end clientele, which of course, we don't mention their names, whether, they're celebrities or kings or queens or whatever the heck they are of other countries and stuff. But what's a cool, like crazy story that you've had just right off the bat to share with everyone?
I mean, you said it best. I'm flying world leaders, athletes, CEOs, a lot of business owners that you would never even know who they are just by looking at them. I've had clients get onto the aircraft in sandals straight from the beach with sand and everything out of a Toyota Corolla hopping on a flight that's $100,000. So the spectrum is quite wide when it comes to who's flying. But as far as crazy stories go, I would have to say one of my clients, flying on the plane and smoking weed in the aircraft was probably one of the more crazy stories that had happened. And, they no longer are able to fly with us at this point because, there's a lot of restrictions when it comes to that and flying.
And it's not like there's a barrier between where they're at and where the pilot is, where he has like his own. So basically all the smoke would be going and the pilot would be getting definitely a contact high, especially in a private jet. I don't even care if it's a bigger one. Like there's no windows to roll down or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, which isn't cool. Like that's why you guys have that rule. And I think you told me too, they have to all get drug tested.
Correct. As a pilot, you're subject to random drug tests, and it is centralized air that is passing through the aircraft. So these pilots had to put on their oxygen masks. We were hit with a smoking fee, and then just to make things right, we did let our operations team know that client will no longer be flying with us, and that is not something that we stand by. But it's definitely a crazy story to think that someone will just light up on the aircraft.
And obviously, yeah, that makes sense. They're not with you anymore. And I'm sure the pilots have a lot of crazy stories they've seen even behind the scenes of stuff that went under the radar or whatever.
Oh yeah, there's pilots that have the wildest stories that I don't even know about, celebrities and so on.
Right.
But it is a
I've got to
wild,
sign like an
wild world.
NDA before the flight or something.
Exactly.
But I mean, that's the actual health and safety thing to where you can't get around that. They're having to use their oxygen. I mean, that's not cool. Like, that's
No.
honest. How rude. Just like, no, we're going to smoke anyway.
Yeah, and I'd say that's less than 0.001% of the clientele. Like that just
I'm not
happens to be,
surprised.
an outlier,
Right.
which you'll always have across any business, I think.
Yeah. And, before we even go into like some of your backstory of going back and forth to Dominican Republic and kind of how you got started throughout your journey, which is awesome. There's a lot of good success tips for people to listen to throughout this, from me getting to know Jordan, breaking down different levels of leadership, and also how to achieve things. Because a lot of people are like, how do I increase my confidence and emotional intelligence and stuff? And basically, as we go through your story, I mean, the examples of what you literally do is what inspired me to want to share this with the audience as well. And I know the first time we connected, I remember you had it yesterday. It was, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, just about 2 years ago when you first made that call.
I'm almost positive it was like winterish time, I think, because I was in Ohio for my company Dreamshine, and I had something come up like really quickly where I had to be back for, it was either like a huge show or like a big speaking event. I know it was booked like months in advance, and
Yeah.
it involved me meeting with other people from out of the country. And like I had to be here, and all my flights were being delayed. And it was at the point where I think that they were having like some on the big commercial jets, like problems with ice and crap like that.
Yeah.
And then later on, it was starting to warm up. But since all, how it can be in the commercial, and since everything was backed up, there was going to be nothing. I wasn't going to be able to get there that day, if not till the next morning, and be screwed. And I literally like just started Googling like what are the other options of like private jets, top places. Fly USA, one other place came up right away. I reached out to both of them just to try to get some ideas. Jordan immediately started texting me, which, by the way, over email for busy people, I mean, everyone has their own thing that they do, but that was so helpful. And I'm like, oh, okay, here's where I am. I need to try to get here. I'm stuck, blah, blah, blah. And within a super fast time range, like, you took the time to help find a flight that was going out that way already. It was able to help like hook me up with a really, really good deal. And I was within, I don't know, probably within like an hour and a half taken off, got back here to Fort Lauderdale, back to Boca, and was here before my event started.
Yep. That's
thank God.
That's the name of the game right there. It's speed, just like you just said, being able to get an option to you as fast as possible, I think is what makes the difference between, us and some of these other companies out there.
Yeah.
You may, try to get a quote on a private flight and not hear back for a week.
Yeah. The other one didn't respond till after I had taken off and landed.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we have this and this and this. So they
Too
were
late.
just starting to send me a thing. I'm like, I'm already here. I didn't even reply. But
we try to answer, within the first 5 minutes of any client reaching out, and go from there. And we have a strategy where we'll text, call, email, hit every single thing, just in case you missed one. Just like you said, the emails sometimes get congested, but I've seen pretty good success with texting. It just feels more personable, and I get quick responses that way.
Yeah, I noticed for me, like some people still prefer it, but super busy people, just not everyone. It's my business and personal stuff, but not everyone has access to the text where it can pop up at least quicker for me. But now I get so many texts, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to send a clip of just recently where you helped my son and I out of a bind. And we got to fly in this really cool, like I felt like my son was calling it like a flying car.
Yeah.
And it has a parachute and then a button you can press that we'll talk about later, where it like has crazy AI and stuff like that. So stay tuned. We'll share that story, and we'll share some of the real clips from that. That thing was amazing.
Yeah, it's like flying in the future.
I love it. But going back, Jordan, you know, we were talking for a little bit about just your upbringing, and you were raised in Weston, which is Southern Florida. So people listening from all over the world, it's a nice, definitely a nice area. Outside of Miami, it's a nice area, like Boca and stuff too. And your dad was from, I forget where your dad was from again.
He's French, Moroccan, Eastern European, but
Okay.
born and raised in New York.
Okay. And your mom's Dominican.
Yeah, my mom's Dominican.
And so your mom would, so you're obviously they worked hard, I'm sure, to get to where they've gotten. I think you said your dad did IT and stuff.
Definitely, yep.
But your mom's like, I want you to see like where my roots are from and all that. So she put you and your brother on a plane at, what were your ages?
Yeah, my brother was 4 years old and I was 6 and some change. But you know, the discussion prior to that is what she was having with my father was, hey, I want to send the kids over to Dominican Republic so they can experience what life is like outside of, you know, the bubble, the suburb area, you know, clean cut grass and trees, and go and have them go experience what, you know, I grew up around. And, you know, at first my father was a little hesitant, as any father would be, to send their 2 young kids to a third world country without any supervision from a parent.
Yeah. So just to let everyone know, that was like back in the day where, I don't know if you still, but they would allow kids to, it's crazy at age 4 and 6, especially going to another country too. I was thinking about, I like staying within the US, but that's involving a passport and everything.
Right.
So the parents like take you to the airport, and then the airline has like an escort or wherever that make sure you guys get to the gate and all that. And then you're 4 and 6 flying by yourselves overall.
Correct. You have like it's basically like
to another country,
a babysitter that takes care of you through the airport. And then once you're on board, you know, the flight attendant would be like, you know, very caring and whatnot. But
I had the AI version of that with a jet you guys gave me for my son Gilbert when I was in that. If they would have had that available, I would have used it. Anyway, go ahead.
Exactly. So, yeah, my dad, at first, he was like, there's no way they're going to go by themselves. And I guess she pushed hard enough to where we ended up on this plane by ourselves heading to Dominican Republic. I definitely remember being scared. My brother can't remember it as much. But I remember we got there and we don't speak any Spanish at that point.
Right.
We're both English, you know, native speakers, and we have an amazing time after everything's said and done, you know. But the biggest thing was seeing the difference between, you know, living in Florida in this suburb and going to this third world country where you have to use a bucket to go and shower and grab the water and, you know, take a bath, or go and ride horses and dirt roads and just everything.
Like not at the resort, because when people do go there from that, they're usually going to like a resort from a bubble to a bubble.
Right.
And not see, and of course there's beautiful country there and stuff. Like,
definitely.
Like my wife's from Sierra Leone. I was telling you too, beautiful country, but similar crazy stuff with,
for sure.
You see the whole other level of poverty.
Completely different.
Yeah. Like a whole other, there's basically not like a middle class. It's either like people have crazy money, and we won't even get into all that of legal, not legal, whatever.
For sure.
Or, you know, we were talking about, or it's like you're making $40 in 3 months.
Yeah,
or something.
For sure. Yeah. In the small village, you know, the average pay for anyone who is just working, whether you're working at like a supermarket, which the supermarket is just like a shack that they have like, you know, snacks and different types of food there.
So just to help in my brand, I didn't think to ask you. So were you guys like by the coastline, or were you like up in the
mountainous area, closer to the beach? But my grandfather had a a farm in that village, and
So like
we would
far
stay
from
with
the tourist
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, this is complete countryside, like, you would not come across this unless, you had a mother that was born nearby.
By the way, I want to go. That's the stuff I love is going to places where people that are from there
Yeah,
that can take me to the real, making sure it's safe and all that, but can
for
take me
sure.
to the real. That's I love seeing that type of stuff. But
Yeah,
anyway, go ahead. That can be an excursion we
for
can event in the
sure.
future
Yeah,
along
that'd
with
be
Sarah
awesome.
Leone, and
Definitely.
they'll book the jets through you guys.
100%. That sounds like a plan. So yeah, I mean, seeing kids that didn't have clothes, they were, walking around barefoot on sharp rocks. And I vividly remember, at least myself being jealous. And I'm like, why are these kids able to run on these rocks? And I'm like tiptoeing everywhere because, I have these baby
Yeah.
soft feet that
Yeah.
have, never experienced that. They have these calluses all over their feet and they're able to run full speed on the sharpest of rocks. So, just experiencing that level of, poverty on that side, I think
Right.
shaped me really into who I am today.
And by the way, it's not like it's because they couldn't afford shoes.
Yeah, it's not that they
Obviously.
didn't want to.
Yeah. Like it was like, here, this will make your feet tough. Yeah, it's crazy. I know the stuff you see, but then also it sounds like over time you started to obviously start to enjoy spending time. You told me like you would ride horses and
Yep.
but then in the power, I know the power, like when we're in Sierra Leone and stuff, what's funny and weird at first is we'll be at like a restaurant and actually like the city and the power will just at certain times just go out and everyone just continues like eating in the dark
As
like
if
it's normal. And then usually there's a generator and stuff that'll kick on.
Yep.
It'll eventually come back. But when I was first there, I was like, wait, what's going on? Are we about to get attacked? Is there an earthquake? Is there and then the waiters just do it. I'm like, oh, okay.
So that's
right.
That's
Is it
exactly
like that there too?
exactly what it was like, except furthermore, there was no generator. And when we first went, all we had was
And
either
it gets hot.
it got super hot. We had bug nets at night. We brought a Nintendo 64. I remember that. So when there was power, it was either riding horses or playing on the Nintendo 64. And so when the power would go out for like 8 hours, 9 hours at a time, you're just like, what do you do? So we really fell in love with, nature and riding horses. And
That's cool though, right?
yeah, after 2.5 months, we got back, and every summer after that, we would just go back. We absolutely loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did your dad ever go?
My dad went a couple times. He's always been like super busy, but
Right.
when he went, he's definitely been, a few times.
Yeah, that's cool. So then, before we get to moving forward with some of the stuff, I know you and I talked about this too, just even off camera to make sure it was comfortable, but some obvious, like some adversity with your uncle
Definitely.
came up about you were going to stay for an extra week.
Yeah, towards like I'd say middle school era. I was a teenager, and I would go and visit my uncle quite often. Especially during the summers. And one time it was during a spring break that I went out with my brother, my mother at the time, when we flew together. And basically, I wanted to stay an extra week longer. So I was having such a blast over there. So I told my mom, like, hey, can I stay? She spoke with my father, and my dad's like, it's your spring break's over. You got to get back to school. And my mom ended up just saying, like, stay an extra week. We'll get the ticket home, have a great time. And I was so excited. And I had, the best week of my life, honestly. And once I got back, a month later, I was hit with the news that, my uncle was killed. And, he had a big dealership, a few farms out in Dominican Republic where he would, sell cars and whatnot. And there was some dispute over, money and cars and all that stuff. And he ended up getting killed.
Was he shot?
He was shot.
That's nuts. Yeah, man. I mean, that's, again, I'm sorry to hear that because it sounds like you guys were pretty close too.
Yeah. I mean,
and you were older enough, it's not like you were like 3 or something. And
definitely people thought I was his other son. Yeah.
Oh man.
So it definitely, thank God that I got to spend that extra week with him. And I think
Mm,
it goes to show that like so many things just happen for, a good reason in that sense, if you want to spin it that way. And
right.
that's kind of how I try to look at it.
Do you think you did you see him working? Did you pick up any of your work ethic or did that spark? Because I'm going to ask you about high school now because I remember you telling me you had interests in other things and then it led you back to like kind of being wanting to be an entrepreneur and this kind of other drive.
Yeah,
Do you think that him, because he was basically an entrepreneur, as far as I
certainly.
understand, right? Did that plant a seed maybe without you realizing it, or did you not see him working as much when you were with him?
Now that
I'm just
no, you
curious.
mentioned it now, I think unconsciously, sure, like, or subconsciously. I don't think, at that age when I was younger, I did see his success and like all the cool stuff he had, like ATVs and all. And I was just like, I love that. Like I'm having the best time of my life. And I
Mm,
think that might have triggered, that aspect of thinking larger than, that entrepreneurial mindset
mm.
could definitely stem from. I didn't think of it that way, but now
I
that
was
you
just
mentioned
wondering,
that,
yeah,
yeah, I can see a correlation there for sure.
because something as we like move to high school, and I love this because we have listeners of all different ages, and a lot of people are continually asking, like, what do I need to do to get this or get this skill or apply for this? And this is why I have all different types of people, or it's just me on Elevating Beyond. It's not, sometimes people are famous, sometimes they're NFL players. And not that Jordan's not, but like then Jordan is 28 and him just authentically as we go through his whole journey to where he's gotten and he's still just getting started. So when you're a billionaire, we'll have you back on too, of course.
I'd like to.
But like people ask me, and instead of giving just these corny, well, here's the 10 things to check off the list, it's through conversations that you just continue to listen to what Jordan's going to share, and it will unlock some things. Because then you're in high school, and I remember you pulled out on your phone. I don't remember if you started putting that down before, or I think at one point you wanted to be like a pre-med or something
Yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah.
I remember, yeah.
So during high school, I had this list. I called it just business ideas list. And every time something came to mind, I would just jot it down. Right. So that was, again, some of the entrepreneurial mindset, forming.
Did you have friends doing that too?
No, I was,
Did you share that with anyone? I'm
uh,
just always
yeah,
curious.
I probably shared it with like my dad and my brother at times.
If you would have like shared that with your friends at that time, would they have been like, that's weird or that's cool or just kind of whatever
They,
ish?
they probably would have thought it was cool. There were some interesting ones in there, like,
Well, that's cool.
yeah, like Oreo cereal.
Right. But I guess my kind of point is like you kind of were wired a little bit differently,
Certainly,
maybe. Because I always sort of felt like that, but then later on I realized that's our blessing.
for
But
sure.
the school systems can make you feel like you're not thinking in this box, you're doing that stuff,
Yeah,
something's wrong with you, you're not, because then you were like, okay, I want to do something with, and I know you mentioned to me the Cleveland Clinic
yeah,
because
medicine.
my company that's in Columbus for people with disabilities, Dreamshine, is we have Cleveland clinics there too. So I didn't even know
Yeah,
they're here in Florida as well.
the one in Weston is actually like one of the top rated clinics, especially for like ER and certain types of surgery.
Oh, that's
So
crazy.
people,
So one of the ones in Ohio is really well known for like cardiovascular
there
and
you go.
stuff.
Yeah, I think this one's
Hmm.
better for like brain surgery and stuff like that. But people flying from all over the world to go to Cleveland Clinic Weston for specific specialties, and
I'm at the mindset now of not being a doctor in those, but owning one of those. How do you
practices
learn to own? Anyway,
for
that's
sure.
another conversation.
Yeah.
But so what were you wanting to specialize in or thinking
I
about?
really, I was interested in becoming an ER surgeon
Okay.
and doctor. So I was like, what's the fastest way that I can see if I really want to do this or not? So I ended up getting a job or internship at the ER and did 600 volunteer hours, and all I was paid every day was just I was able to get like a sandwich from the cafeteria. No dollars.
I got to
Behind it.
stop you right there. Everyone's got to listen to this because I remember you told me this in another part of your journey. I will hear people at times mention, I don't want to volunteer. I'm overqualified. And I'm like, you get your foot in the door and it gives you an opportunity to learn stuff. I know a guy that owns a huge media company. He's very famous. I can't say it right now. I know him from the show. I'd have to get his permission, but I know he has had some people that are interns and stuff that end up volunteering, doing this, and then they end up getting great positions. But he's had some come in and he's like, you're this famous celebrity, blah, blah, and you're not even willing to pay us. And then they'll make a whole YouTube channel on how he's scamming people and not pay. And I'm like, your mindset is so twisted.
Wrong. Yeah. I think if you can get direct hands-on experience in an industry, I think that's invaluable. Like you're getting paid an experience that is completely invaluable. So for me, doing the 600 hours in the ER, I quickly realized that like I'm super grateful for the doctors and people that can do this job on a regular basis. And, they love it. It's their passion. It's their drive.
Right.
It's their blood. Amazing. Wasn't for me. And thankfully I didn't go into college and start pre-med classes. I learned quickly like finance and business is my direction. It's my passion and where I want to, go towards.
And that's what I love too, is the process of your purpose. People ask me a lot too, how do I find my purpose? And I'm like, I didn't even know I was going to end up having my own company. When I was in high school, I wasn't making lists. I didn't even really know like an entrepreneur. I didn't even know that was like a thing. I mean, that word wasn't even hardly used as much back then either, but still a business owner. I just never thought like that at all. I just thought differently. I'm not wired to be the straight A student. And I was just, if I tried really hard, I realized I could be, but I just was so bored and always thought differently. But I learned a lot of stuff I don't want to do by just doing different things. Sure. And it's like, okay, that's something to check off the list of what I don't want to do. And that kind of leads you towards your purpose. Instead of people think like it's just going to be one golden thing and then you knew that forever. And I guess that can happen, but a lot of times it's like you just keep doing. And even through the stuff that doesn't work out leads you towards the right path by learning what not to do.
Yeah. I think, failing is what leads you to that success.
Right.
So,
and it's not even like that was a failure.
No.
Like you did it, but it made you realize before you went and got a $250,000 loan and went to med school and all that good stuff.
Correct. There's a lot of people who have switched, 3 years into pre-med realizing, this is not for them. So
I had a dude on my show that was so high up in a law firm and was about to be partner and was basically doing it because his parents wanted him to. He was miserable and making so much money and ended up totally leaving it all and is basically a editor and ghostwriter. He started doing that on the side and he's really good at it. And now he has a full company and he actually makes more now than he would, but he left there taking a risk, not knowing that but he's so much more fulfilled and everything too.
Yeah.
But yeah, he almost didn't. And I mean, he was like drinking, like almost like suicidal and thinking like my parents are going to hate me. And they went through. So people get stuck thinking I got to do this to please everyone else. And that's not
you got to do
it
it.
Is.
You got to do it for yourself at the end of the day. And I think that's the biggest difference too. A lot of people, like you just said, will do things for other people. Put yourself first, and you'll reap the benefits in perpetuity.
Right. And then you end up serving others with your purpose, but you can't do it to please others.
Correct.
And you learn that along the way. So Then you go, all right, so finance, you go into school for finance. And I know you started an internship, another unpaid
Yeah,
internship,
correct.
right?
Yeah, so I went to New York, finishing up my sophomore year in college, and I was working for a private equity firm, and that's that's when I had started, getting my hands kind of dirty with finance work and what the private equity world really looked like, and really noticing that I really enjoyed it. So I finish up that internship, head back to school in Tallahassee, and within those couple months, I'm still getting work from the private equity firm. Like,
You also, oh yeah, just to let everyone know too, thank you, Jordan, for coming all the way back. I remember this from yesterday, so I'm just going to bring it right back up.
yeah,
We recorded a full hour and a half show yesterday that was phenomenal. This is going to be even better though. And we had a wonderful surprise that the update eliminated the audio. Long story short, I take full accountability. It's for my show, and done over 300 shows and still screw up, just to let all of you know it happens. Fortunately, and thank you so much, Jordan, that you're not out of the country, out of state, but still, dude, I've done that drive back and forth to Miami airport a million times.
Sure.
When the traffic can get crazy and all that, plus the time, you're busy. Jordan came all the way back here today. We're doing it again. So thank you for that, man.
no problem.
And Carlos, our man, was with us yesterday. We'll have some clips from him. We'll talk about what you guys are doing there too. But I remember yesterday you were sharing when you went to New York, also kind of, you started to have this vision of finances, Wall Street, because
Definitely.
Southern Florida is a totally different,
Yeah,
different in weather at least.
definitely, for sure.
But yeah, so you're imagining Wall Street and all that, which so you went towards your vision because there's different levels of your purpose, I think, in life.
For sure.
And I remember you had to step out of your comfort zone to go there. New York's crazy expensive because we forgot about that part. You're in a little apartment there. That's,
Let me back up one step. So while I was there for the internship, I remember this awesome story of me waiting at the bus stop.
oh yeah.
I was waiting at the bus stop to go down to go work, and I was staying, upper east side of Manhattan, and then I would go down to go work in the, Soho area, right? And the bus is just not coming. I don't know how these systems work. It's brand new. Everything's brand new to me. And I see this guy in like a suit just waiting as well. And he asked me, "Hey, are you going downtown?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Where's this bus at?" And he goes, "I don't know, but you want to split a cab down there, going downtown." And at first, my instant reaction is like a little hesitant. Then I'm like, "Screw it, let's do it." So we hop in the car and we first start talking just about business, like what are we each doing here, like. And he tells me, first I explained, I'm at an internship right now, studying finance and so on. And then he tells me that he's, a high level executive at Goldman Sachs.
How cool. That's so cool that he is a high level. Obviously he didn't need to split a cab with anyone.
No.
But just something, I don't know. I just love that. So many people give success. I've met so many amazing, successful people, and I know you have too. Yes, there's the 1%. There's good and bad people everywhere.
Yeah.
But what a cool dude that was like, let's just split a cab. And it just so happens to be high up for like
100%.
the most well-known like financial company in the world.
And for some reason, it just felt right. Like I wouldn't just
God's always orchestrating.
Typically, I don't think I would just randomly, accept a random split cab ride with someone.
Right.
Something just felt like it made sense. And so in the car, he tells me that. I'm like, that at that time, like I said, Wall Street, like finance, everything that's just directly on path and on target. So I'm like, how did you get there? Like, what did you do to get into that position? Here's where I am. And obviously that's kind of the direction that I want to go. And he just responded very shortly. It was just exactly what you're doing right now is, how I got to where I am today.
I love that because he could see that he didn't say, "Oh, do this 30-day over." But from what you shared with him, he could probably see you're driven, you're doing this, you're already doing an internship, you're putting in the reps, and you're going in the right direction. There's no magic,
Yeah.
but you're on the grind.
Correct. So he then
Hmm.
says, he gives me his business card. He goes, when you're done, with your internship and school, shoot me over an email, give me a call, and we'll get you taken care of. And I took it like a blessing, and I was like, this is awesome. I just
Right.
met this guy, but what are the chances that I actually get something out of it? Fast forward to about, let's say a couple months later, once the company that I did the internship for offered me a full-time job to go back, I wanted to explore my options. I'm like, I can go back to New York, but I remember this guy. Let me reach out and see. They offered me a full-time position as well at Goldman Sachs that I ended up turning down for quality of life benefits and, experience. It just wasn't, aligned perfectly, but still forever grateful that was even, an option.
And by the way, you still never know where the dots will connect one day in the future with all that, by the way.
Correct. And we've stayed in contact since.
You see, so that's awesome. And it's weird how life works too. Sometimes it will test you with like two opportunities will come when you're about to like kind of sort of start to level up, and taking the wrong one that can be like shinier and sometimes look easier.
Sure.
Versus how would you explain the way I explain it is I usually kind of, it's not like I don't preach, I believe in God, but it's not like this audible voice from the sky where he's like, go here, Mark, but it's kind of usually like this almost like kind of pulling at my gut to like do it. And it's a lot of the times the kind of scarier thing to do usually also of like, no, I kind of want to do this other thing. It's like way easier and way more in my,
definitely.
But what was with you? You just kind of felt you had experience, you were working with them already, and they offered you a position there.
Yeah. And offered to, pay for school, to finish school online, and just everything kind of lined up, perfectly. So, I ended up moving to New York. I lived with my great uncle in Fresh Meadows, Queens, and was commuting about an hour and a half each way to and from work. So about 3 hours of commuting every day, until I saved up enough money to move downtown and be about 5 minutes from work. That took about 8 months to get to that position because I had no money in my account. Moving to New York, I took that risk to just move out there and be 2 years ahead of my peers in college at the time.
I like that too. For everyone here, took that risk, and in your 20s, like take the risk. You don't have kids. You don't have, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just you're taking care of. It doesn't mean that it's easy, but what better time, because people could be talking about that 2 years later while you're out doing it,
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, go out there broke and you learn and you figure it out along the way and stuff. And then it leads to you're having a decent position there. From what I understood, you were moving up like really well. Again, super young. I think. And then COVID hits. Was that what happened?
Yeah. So I was the youngest in the office, and to give like a kind of quick summary of what the office entailed.
Oh, that's right. There was another great story from that.
Yeah, it was like it was basically like
how could I forget this one?
It was like a miniature Shark Tank, and entrepreneurs, business owners would come in and pitch us, their ongoing business or future idea, and they're looking to raise capital and have us as a strategic partner.
So you would basically, I'll dumb it down for myself. You would basically give them, if it was a company you saw was a good fit, the company you were with would give them financing and have like a certain percentage of ownership within the company.
Correct. In return for equity.
And your position was to kind of go through these companies and scout them out to see if they'd be a good fit or not.
Correct. Yeah, I was a junior analyst, so definitely reviewing financials.
At what age was this again?
I was like 20, 21.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, that says a lot too.
For sure. I was one of the youngest in the office. So I'd give my millennial mindset on whether or not I think it's a good investment and why. because the younger person's perspective this day and age from the right person means a lot, especially when you're like in your 50s and 60s and looking at a company. Sometimes the younger guy has a different perspective you couldn't even have thought of, even if you tried. So it's very
Yeah,
valuable.
and it's not, it's not like you would just like, yeah, this feels good. You go obviously through all the financials, of course, and I would imagine and see, okay, what's their profit mark, all that good stuff. But as you're saying, then on top of that, you would spend. I think you'd go and meet the because I think this is so important. Like you guys would study, pay attention to the culture of the leadership
Everything.
and the founders.
A to Z.
And like there was something before we get into the whole
Yeah.
just to give you guys a little hint, the women's vibrator company, I think. But you would meet the founders because I think this is an important part people don't think about when it comes to business. A lot of people are just so quick to think of just numbers, analytics, but you would also be meeting the founders. And what else like would you be looking for within their characteristics?
Really, it would be passion behind their brand and how they spoke of their brand. Because honestly, for me, myself, my brand is my baby. So if you can really get that from someone while they're speaking to you about it, then that's a huge, green flag, I would say. And then on top of that, we would play, different roles where, I'd go and like one of our bigger investments was in a chocolate company. And I'd go and see how much it would cost to create all the chocolates on our menus across 12 stores in New York City. So doing a pricing analysis on that. But on the flip side, we'd have founders come in like the woman's female, female vibrator.
Wait,
brand.
before the vibrator, I didn't even think. So with the chocolate company, I'm curious, like how many locations were they having like at that time when you first, did they have a couple? And then you guys are looking
then we
at
expanded a little bit. Yeah. So there was like 7 and we grew it to 12.
But before you grew it to 12, you're looking at,
you
guys are looking at if it's 12, like how scalable is this business model as well?
Conducting a cost analysis, because realistically they didn't understand how much labor, how much time it went into making each chocolate, the ingredients.
They didn't have the full,
not fully,
which
down.
Is pretty typical.
It is typical
because you're so caught up in everything as an entrepreneur, the CEO, chief everything officer at first, especially when you do your own startup.
For sure.
But okay,
they'd have me plugged into a bunch of different companies, just different roles, different hats, and then my favorite was being able to sit in the room and listen to founders that would come in and talk about their business, energy drinks, dog food companies, female vibrators, like you
basically like what the show is all, the story behind the story
exactly
is always the best story.
It was amazing. If you feel like
when they're passionate about it and stuff.
They're super passionate about it. A lot of them already had great success. Like hand sanitizer was a huge one, like especially right before COVID. There were some big hand sanitizer companies and it was crazy because they've been in the like generational hand sanitizer business through family.
It's crazy to me. Some of those, oh man, there was one stock I was looking at that the company I realized has been around since like 1829. It wasn't Johnson and John. It wasn't like, it was something like Band-Aids, but it wasn't. But they're basically still making the same product to this day. And I was just like, man. And the whole crazy story behind the story was like, they were using it for something else. It was something like that. It may have been Vaseline. Don't quote me on this, but they were making it. It was for a totally different random thing, and then found out it served this other purpose. And it just, you don't think about those generational things that haven't like changed drastically. And they're still here like 200 years later.
Like the number
That's
2
nuts.
pencil. Like
that
hasn't changed.
That's so crazy, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so the female vibrator company, there was like a kind of a cool story. So they gave you some products to sample out.
Yeah,
typically part of the thing sometimes.
Yeah,
so you ate the chocolates,
right?
Then the next thing you know, you're getting vibrators.
Yes,
in the mail.
Exactly. From chocolates to vibrators. So yeah, founders would come in and give us products to sample whatever they have, and the men in the room were like, "What can we potentially sample from this female vibrator company?" They gave us these small boxes, and they said, go ahead, open it up. We open these up, and it's like these. It's hard to explain. It's like a little box that you put in between your fingers, and it turns your whole entire hand into like a machine vibrator, pretty much. So that was like
it's a smart invention. I'm not lying. It's a smart invention, man.
I
To spice things up.
remember like everyone just laughing, like that's classic.
But they probably all took one too.
But
Like,
yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Right in the pocket. Yeah, that's a good story from back in the day.
But what was cool is you said the lady was super passionate, it's just something you don't think of, had a really cool branding style, because people could easily correlate that with like, oh, that's all nasty and they're doing weird, shady stuff and it's
Sure.
all porn. But no, it was like she saw a need and like was passionate about it in like a healthy way.
Yeah.
And I imagine it being all like kind of female-ish branded
Health, like female empowerment.
that's cool. That's smart. And so you guys saw that investing wise.
Yeah, for sure. And it was 2 female founders.
What were the margins like on that? I don't know if you still remember. I'm just curious if that has like a high.
Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure, the products themselves, since they were high quality, were already pretty high ticket.
Okay.
So it wasn't too high margin.
I was wondering
like,
about that.
I think around 50%, something like that. But still good, enough to make a mark.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. These are the best stories too. So COVID hits.
Yep.
You've got this vision already. Wait, I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm finances. We're buying stuff. They pull you over and they're like, we got to downsize, or we're not going to be investing right now. And I mean, you explain it.
No, COVID hits, and pretty much every single financial institution comes to a standstill.
Right. Especially at first. Dude.
Yeah.
It was like no one knew what was going to happen.
Everyone's just holding on to their cash. They're like, we don't know what's going to happen, and there's no reason to continue, doing some large disbursements if that's the case. So I remember I just had moved up from the apartment that I was in when I first moved into the city, it was a 4-bedroom apartment with 2 bathrooms, but I shared 1 bathroom with 3 roommates in that like tiny apartment. Like you walk into the door, my bed's in the way of the door. Like that was it.
And how much were you paying?
I was paying close to $2,000 a month.
And that was even, I mean,
no living room.
Wasn't that crazy long ago, but still, that's like not on tip. I mean, so between how many? There's 4 of you?
Yeah, 4 of us.
2, 4, 6. So it was like easily $8 grand a month for a little
tiny apartment. I'd say like less than 1,100 square feet.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's so nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy. Actually, 800 square feet, if that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So eventually,
but that's normal. Yeah.
No,
anyway, go
normal.
ahead.
Yeah, no, and I was starting to make more money, starting to save, and I got the opportunity to upgrade to the master bedroom 1 floor above. And the master bedroom had your own in-suite bathroom.
Right. You weren't sharing it with 3 other dudes.
Yeah. Your door doesn't knock into your bed.
Right.
Yeah.
For real though.
Everything. So I'm so hyped. Like I have the stone brick wall. Like everything feels like it's lining up and going in my, favor. And I think within 4 months, COVID hits. So I vividly remember my boss, like once it got real serious in New York, he goes, everything's at a standstill. We don't have work right now, like including myself. What we can do is relocate you down to South Florida. And, you can work for one of our sister, companies or companies that are within the umbrella. And it was a digital pharmacy. And
did they know, did they do that because you were from South Florida, or that just ironically happened to be, they had that open?
It was like a good match. It was like,
okay.
And at first, being stubborn 21-year-old, I'm like, I love New York. I'm not going anywhere. Like,
right. It's in your vision. I mean, it's a letdown. I mean, you got to be like, you're like, this was in my vision. I'm doing good here. Now I got to do all this.
Right.
And it's crazy because there's like that saying, what gets in the way, the obstacle becomes the way.
Yeah.
But when it is the obstacle in the way, you don't know that.
Don't know it.
It's scary. It's scary too. Because like, once again, now, okay, starting at a whole different type of company.
Completely.
And that wasn't buying and selling
that was
companies anymore, right?
That was just a digital pharmacy doing the financial reporting and some B2B sales.
Oh, so just totally.
Completely different. But it was an opportunity nonetheless.
Yeah, yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, I can go and start applying for other jobs, but I'm seeing New York is getting worse and worse. And I end up like sitting for like a week or two, just like scratching my head, really not sure what to do. And I decided, you know, all my friends and all my family's in Florida. Everything's open, wide open in Florida. I'm seeing, you know, people are going to dinner still, going to the movies. And I'm just like,
New York became like a zombie apocalypse ghost town.
Yeah, it was empty. I remember going on the subway,
creepy,
completely
right?
empty. Yeah. So I called my boss and I'm like, hey, is that opportunity still available? And he's like, yeah, for sure. So I remember, you know, packing up all my stuff. We got a moving company to move everything down to South Florida. And this is mid-COVID. And I hopped on a plane from JetBlue going JFK to Fort Lauderdale. And I remember this perfectly. It was me, one other passenger, and a fully empty plane during COVID. And I think that's exactly
I did that too. It was weird.
It was so weird. And
it was like eerie feeling, right? In a way, it was kind of great because you're like, I got a space, but then another way, you're like, this is weird.
I'll send you pictures so you can see. And
yeah.
Put it up.
That's a giant private jet right there.
Huge. It was massive. Anyways, I just remember being on the plane and thinking, okay, if all these people are, you know, pretty much afraid of flying, you know, commercially right now, there has to be an influx of people that are flying private who had never flown private in the past. Something clicked right then and there.
Without you even looking into Fly USA or
nothing. I didn't even know about the industry.
You didn't even know your position existed.
Yeah, I just thought about that, you know, on the cuff. So I'm like, maybe there's some sort of way to you know,
that's crazy.
Get involved in something when, you know, the market's in turmoil. So I go back home and I got an apartment, my first, you know, apartment in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm working for the digital pharmacy. And one of my, you know, best friends to this day, he was a private pilot for a Falcon 50, super mid-sized jet. You can see like 9 passengers on it. It's a rocket ship. It has 3 engines, one on each side and one on top. So
that's cool.
I remember him taking me on a flight on that thing, and I was like, "This is
that's dope."
Awesome.
9 passengers isn't small at all either.
It's not. And 3 engines, like it's just a beast on takeoff.
That's
like,
awesome.
Like a roller coaster. And he was like, "Jordan, you have a lot of free time," because, you know, I would just do the financial reporting, you know, the B2B sales, but it didn't take up too much of my time.
Okay.
He's like, "You have a lot of free time. You should look into, you know, private aviation, and, you know, it's fun. There's money to be made."
Was he talking about like
becoming a pilot?
Oh, so he's talking about being a pilot or like working
just
for like
a
company? Okay, in the industry.
He's just like, look at the industry. Like, it's
interesting.
You know, it definitely sounds a little bit more in my head. I'm like, it sounds more exciting than working with digital pharmacy.
Right.
So from there, I took it, you know, I put it in the back of my head and I just started doing some research for like 2-3 months, kind of, you know, diving a little bit deeper into the industry, learning the ins and outs of every single aircraft.
Smart.
Understanding what type of positions, you know, even were available in this industry that I had never even thought of in the past. And kind of just getting a well-rounded, you know, surface level base of knowledge to where, okay, now I can see there's opportunity here and where I could potentially fit in based on my experience. How can I plug it in? So I remember just like being on LinkedIn and then seeing this company, Fly USA, pop up. And I looked into the founder, Barry Shevlin. He had sold his last company for, you know, it was a tech sales company, made an amazing exit. And I realized that they were, you know, pretty small startup mode.
That's what I was going to say. They were in their beginning phases of startup.
Phase, maybe 3-4 employees max.
Oh, wow.
And they weren't hiring. There was like nothing, you know, available for hiring at that point. But I reached out to the chief revenue officer at the time on LinkedIn. So you know, back in the day, there was no such thing as ChatGPT to go ahead and, you know, draft an email that's convincing to get like.
But still, you know, ChatGPT is a great tool, but you still can't over rely on it to expect it's going to pull out the best of the, but you still would want to edit it in and put your own personal, you get what I mean?
Definitely. I think
like
it's great
it's a perfect tool to be like, but then edit it. It's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So LinkedIn has like, you know, the character count that is limiting. So I'm like, okay, what can I say in here that's going to at least get me on a phone call with them? There has to be something because it seems like a good fit, but just not sure until I talk to these guys.
And they're not hiring, again, to remind everyone, because a lot of people would stop there.
Yeah.
They would be like, oh, not hiring, move to the next thing. And this is where I keep talking about success leaves clues. The mindset that Jordan's sharing with you is answering a lot of your questions that you write me in. And I'm so thankful for everyone that does that too. Like, how do I build my skills, my emotional intelligence? How do I get more opportunities? Thinking they're just going to fall in your lap. The thing is, you go after them even when there's not an opportunity and it says it's not hiring. Jordan, perfect example, doesn't stop there. You become resourceful of, I'm interested in this place. What's another way I can try to get my foot in the door?
Yeah.
Instead of just stopping there thinking, well, they're not hiring.
Correct. Or at least a phone call. Just to
The
find
worst
out
that
more.
happens is then they say, no, we're still not. But
Correct.
you weren't stopping there. So you're drafting up the email to one of the definite like higher ups.
Yeah, for sure. Chief revenue officer at the time. And I send off this LinkedIn message, and within the hour he goes, can you hop on a call? And so I get on a call with him. I give him all the information that I have no prior experience, but
in the industry at all.
Yeah, no prior experience in the industry, but I have experience in, luxury, finance, luxury sales, and so on. And, that whole meeting went really well. And fast forward like a few hours, he messaged me, can you hop on with our founder and co-founder? So I hop on the call with them. It lasted probably like a couple hours as well. And they were like really, nailing down questions, just trying to read my character.
Right.
And that alone just something felt really right about that. Like, I'm like, they don't want to just hire to hire.
They don't just want to check off
boxes.
You're qualified for this. You've got this on your resume, which as an owner, the respect, that's such an important thing to look for, is not only what they have is like their background, not only like their qualifications, but their character.
Yeah.
And their hungerness and their drive, and are they a good fit for your culture?
Definitely.
Because character isn't a trainable, that's not something you can teach, to have like a good work ethic.
For sure.
Or good core values that line up with our company.
Yeah.
So like the fact they're not just asking you the generic things, that's what's so important. A lot of places miss out on that, and they wonder, they're like, well, I hired a manager to be a manager because they had experience being a manager. Then they came into our place and they sucked. And it's like, because, and I learned this the hard way too. Yeah. I'm like, go ahead and manage. And then I learned, oh crap. Well, I didn't even check to see if they match the core values and how we manage at our place, which is totally different than the way every other place does it, because our character and core values are sacred.
For sure. And I think being a good cultural fit is what directly, impacted our company's growth today as it stands.
And it starts from the top down.
100%.
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead. So they're asking you these things.
Yeah, they're asking me all these questions, and some related to private aviation, some not. And I, gave them, again, I was like 2 or 3 months like looking in and doing deep research.
That's cool.
Into the industry, to where I didn't sound completely, out of space when I was talking about aviation.
I like that.
So prepared for that. Everything went well. And then I remember sending them a message, hey, like, I'm available at any time if you guys, have any questions for me. Thank you so much for your time, and, carry on. And actually they made me wait a little bit. It was like 5 hours later. They did say, I have one question for you. And I was like, is it a trick question or something? And they said, would you like to join the team?
I love that.
So, fast forward to 3.5 years later, almost 4 years going on now. I'm, top 1% private aviation charter broker in the industry across the U.S. I've had, 100% safety record, no safety, awesome. Incidents.
And ownership now.
Yeah. Became a partner in the same company that, I once started off out as just, an employee.
And there was like 5 or
There was
less than 10 of you, and now there's like 100.
Yeah, we're at close to 100 employees now.
That's a lot of growth and
yeah,
that much
and we had
time.
just started as like an on-demand brokerage, but now we're also a management company. We manage the Clearwater Air Park, so all the hangar space, all
Oh,
the
wow.
fuel that goes in and out of there.
That's so interesting.
You know, the planes under management, a little bit over 30 of them. We hire pilots and do all the maintenance for them. So we have maintenance facilities in Tampa. We've expanded quite a bit since, you know, I first joined. But the coolest part about all of this is that I vividly remember Barry saying, you know, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to, prior to me being
like the vision.
and he's surpassed the vision.
I love
and
that.
the timeline that he had
That's
initially,
awesome.
you know, talked about, which is it's incredible. It's
Not easy to do at all.
No.
And surpass the timeline too.
Yeah, no. It's just incredible for sure.
And it's still just getting started.
Yeah, we're still just getting started. There's a lot more room for growth. A cool stat that I read the other day is that 67% of flyers, you know, who are flying private are first-time flyers. So
wait, first time? You mean like have never flown on an airplane?
Have never flown privately before.
Oh, okay. Wait, how many percent? Like
67%
of the new demographic. So it's becoming more and more of
people who are flying. Yeah,
of a new trend.
Correct.
Okay.
So
or more in demand, I guess.
Yeah, it's
more known. Maybe
it's becoming more known as well, for sure. Especially after COVID, you know, there was a huge boom.
More options, maybe too, or something. I don't know. I'm just curious.
Yeah, demand during COVID went up significantly, so pricing for flights went up. You know, availability kind of like stayed the same. You know, the planes that are out there, it takes time to build these aircraft, and you know, you have all the planes. There's planes flying right now from like the 80s or 90s,
right?
That are still flying perfectly because
some of the prices can get crazy for commercial, and I'm like, I'm switching this flight, doing that. I'm like, that's already half the cost of if I was to like switch this to private, and I'll be able to get there
at your own pace.
a day quicker and be way more prepared just to pay. Yeah, but you know, you go through different times of financial, but it's just like, man. The time and energy that it saves doing that is just so
it's incredible,
phenomenal.
So some of my clients, they love and hate me for the fact that, you know, they'll try flying private for the first time and will never want to switch back to commercial. So their wallets hate me, but
yeah, because you gotta. That's us, like us. Remember, I'm like, we're in a big expansion right now. So everything we've invested all in. So it's going to be more rare for a while.
Sure.
But it's definitely not out of my ongoing vision to be, because over time, when you afford it and stuff, it actually ends up, I totally believe you will get ROI from the energy and the time that it will save you for busy people to be able to put that back into the company.
Definitely.
And you know me, it's not about being fancy and wanting to be like, let me just show pictures on it. I don't care about any of that. To me, it's like, this saves me time. It saves me mental energy. I can text. I don't have to go through the main freaking airport. I already have my TSA thing. The little private airports, everyone's so polite there too.
The FBOs, yeah.
Oh my, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
So FBO is a fixed-based operator, and that's the private terminal. They have them at international airports, but they're on the other side of the airport. But they also,
they got the drink set up.
Exactly.
The guy gave my son a blanket. I actually tipped him. I don't know if people are supposed to know. I was just like, thanks, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. The tipping is always, you know, everyone
accepts it. I was just like, man, he's so over delivering, and I appreciate it. So I'm like, oh yeah,
Celsius,
they're not rude, and how'd you know that?
You told me.
Oh, did I? Yeah. I was like, wait, do you know this dude? Or yeah, because you remember and let's tell them about this plane in a second.
Yeah,
this is what my son called the flying car, but I was like delirious, hadn't slept, just had been on a crazy grind. Everything was backed up, and I reached out to Jordan. We were stuck. I had to get my son to Philadelphia so I could be back to Boca from Ohio. It was a long story. It still ended up taking me. They started at 4:50 a.m. in Ohio. I got back at 2 a.m. to Boca. from Ohio to Florida should not be, I mean, that's like some international stuff right there.
Yeah.
But anyway, reached out to you.
Early
Everything
morning.
got booked. All of a sudden, everything's canceled. Everything's booked. It's all chaotic. Then it was just madness. They're like, okay, we can reimburse you. We can do this. Then I'm like, let me see what the other flight. All of a sudden, all the rates were like times 800%. It was all
God.
pushed back. And I'm just like, what is, I'm like, oh, dude, I got to check if Jordan's got something that we could work out a good deal, you know, because if it's not, I'm not going to be able to. And again, you were able to hook us up like really quickly. My son and I are on this plane. What was it called?
Vision Jet.
The Vision Jet. Because even the pilot was like excited about it. But when I was in the smaller airport, whatever they call a private one, the FBO, whatever
the FBO.
The FBO could tell I was talking to him, trying to be polite, but I was just like so delirious and out of my mind, exhausted. And he's like, dude, coffee's not going to do it. And he gives me some Celsius. I'm like, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And that's when he gave my son a blanket because Gilbert was sleeping. But then the pilot came and got me, and he was like starting to walk us into the jet. And he's like, have you heard about these new jets? Like, and he seemed like all giddy, like he was excited. And I'm like, it was a small plane. It was just my son and I. But we get in there, and he's like, all right, well, and he's like, this is the famous lever you pull and the parachute comes out. And I'm already like, that's freaking awesome. Like every plane should have this, like a parachute.
Yeah.
Like it's safety.
It's the future of flying, man. That parachute, it'll glide you down safely. You know,
God, that's so
if
cool.
Everything else goes wrong.
I always thought about that I'm like, commercial airlines have been around for how many years? Since like the 30s?
30s, yeah, 40s.
It's like over 100 years.
They've been around for
and I'm like, there's no way that there can't be a future that if all the engines go out versus the only option is to rant some crazy crash landing, something technology-wise has to exist that even if it's not whatever it is to make it glide
Land
down safely.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not even going to get into all the politics of all that stuff, but we know the technology exists.
It does. It really does.
But then there's another button.
The Vision Jet, the safe return button.
He's like, if I pass out, by the way, you just hit, it's literally a red button.
This is a 2020 Cirrus Vision Jet. Let's check it out.
This $3 million jet doesn't just look like a spaceship, it's fully integrated with AI. It seats up to 5, flies single pilot, and even has built-in oxygen masks tucked right into the ceiling. But the real game changer, that big red button right there.
What happens if I click it now? I wouldn't.
It's called Safe Return. If something ever goes wrong mid-flight, just press it. The aircraft will automatically find the nearest runway, talk to air traffic control, and land itself. No pilot, no problem. This jet does it all with AI. And if you were thinking of chartering an aircraft like this from Miami to Orlando, that'll run you about $7,500 for the one way.
And you just hit it looked like, and he's like, it'll just fly, it'll find, then you explain
So when you hit that safe return button, and it's like in the event of an emergency, you hit that button, the plane will automatically find the nearest runway, and it will communicate to both the passengers and air traffic control. So for those who don't know, air traffic control is the towers that kind of direct traffic in the air, you know? So they're making sure that no planes are going to crash into each other and whatnot. So they'll go ahead and notify everyone around that this aircraft is coming in for, you know, a landing, emergency landing, and the aircraft will go and land on its own completely, all powered by AI, you know, while it's communicating to both.
And I'm imagining it tells them there's some type of emergency, like they know it's coming.
So they clear everything, you know,
something's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, something happened. So not only is there a parachute, which is already reassuring, then also before you do the parachute, just hit this button.
Yep.
He could be totally unconscious and the plane will just fly you back automatically.
Correct.
And what was so cool about that too is I'm already thinking of our Teslas, full self-drive, all this stuff. I'm just in my head thinking of the future. And then when we landed, my son was like, I wasn't even thinking of that, how you described. My son was like, Dad, flying cars are about to exist really fast. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, that was a flying car. And I'm like, actually, now that I think about all the technology and all that, it's just a matter of time
For sure.
till it exists, and you've got like the full automation and stuff. And maybe it's not doing it'll maybe be who knows, but
Yeah.
that shows you, like, dude, that thing was fun. Like, even if you don't like, if my wife would hate it because a small one, she hates the feeling of roller coasters.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, she would probably have pulled the parachute. But when he was like, we're going down, we're in a safe way, he's like, we're getting ready to land. And I could see like the grin on his face. Like, they love flying these things.
For sure.
And he's like, and did it. And Gilbert and I were like putting our hands up like a roller coaster. It was
Yeah.
so cool.
It's like a mini
Gilbert
go-kart.
had the headphones on with a thing, like he was a pilot in the back. It was awesome.
That's so cool. Yeah, I bet that's an experience he won't forget.
Yeah. Have you flown in it? One?
I've been in one. I haven't flown on one personally yet. Have flown on quite a few aircraft, but that's definitely one that's on my book. Yeah,
It's fun. What's
my
your
list.
what's your favorite? And then we'll talk about obviously what you guys are doing with your other company, which actually gives. First of all, I think it's cool that people can see it's just fun to see like the jets and all that stuff,
Sure.
what it looks like in them, and go through them and learn it. But then you guys do way more than that. But what's like one of the coolest one? Well, was it the one with the 3 that your friend flew with the 9 passenger? I don't know the name of anything.
The Falcon 50. No, my favorite aircraft that I've been on was a Gulfstream G650. It's like an $85 million private jet, and it's just
How big is that? Like,
that
how
can
many?
seat like 13, 14 passengers, but it depends how you configure it. All these people get them custom made to their
Is it?
liking.
Can you like fully stand up in it?
Yeah, fully stand up, silent takeoff. So you're sitting. I have videos too.
Wow.
I'll send you. It's a fully silent takeoff, so you don't even feel the plane taking off the ground. We flew that from Tampa to DC right before the inauguration because we had some clients that were flying out of the inauguration, so we had to move the plane, and we got to fly on that. And I got some really cool content on my page.
I'm sure.
Flying that specific plane, but that was that's an experience that not only less than 0.001% of the world gets to experience, but also like even aviation charter advisors, like that is extremely rare to get your hands or like sit on a plane like that.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh man, I'll have to check that out
for sure.
I bet that was fun. Yeah, I bet you made some cool connections ongoing throughout that job too. I could totally imagine.
Definitely. And with the job, it's not all like, fine and dandy. I remember
that was going to be something else that I want to remember us to bring up. Of people ask me this same thing too, because I'm so glad you said that, Jordan. The higher you get, the more responsibility you're given. You get paid more to handle more stress and solve bigger problems.
Correct.
You become more valuable. It's not like, oh, you're doing great, you've been here longer, people misconstrue and think you're going to be in the cushy office and you're just going to delegate everything out. And it's like, no, you're going to get paid more because you're going to become capable to take on way more. And that's why there's levels. Like each different level starts to train you for the next level.
Definitely.
And it gets to, we're talking about the cool stuff, but dude, there's days where it's so stressful, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Where almost you could turn around and be like quietly in like tears, like, man, but then like, what are some things you do to just get back in it and keep yourself going to help some other people that are like, maybe some of the stress is really pulling them down?
Yeah, I think it's extremely important to like how you combat stress in situations, especially in this industry. For me, I think for everyone, it could be a little bit different, but what's really worked for me is just that work-life balance. So, being able to go and play, let's say, pickleball or go to the gym, I just directly feel more energized that day when I'm at work.
It's like a release.
Yeah, like you have so much going on and everything has to be done with speed, attention to detail, making sure nothing, is incorrect. And human error is such a possible thing, right?
Facts.
So you want to just triple check everything. So yeah, you have that high level of stress. But when I go on and play on the court or when I'm in the gym, like I, can definitely correlate higher performance to just those two things alone.
I agree, and you can tell, like we were talking about this before, when you get so stuck in the grind or whatever, and multiple days go by when that doesn't happen, you can feel like this pent up, like it's almost like a pressure valve that hasn't been, like the tire's about
Released.
to explode. Yeah.
For sure.
And so like that's seriously an important part. I talk about this a lot too, is exercise. Like even after jail and all my stuff, that's when I got into it. It was cool physically, but the mental part of it, also the endorphins it releases, it's so important. But
For
you were
sure.
talking about balance, and there's not always a perfect, you can be on the grind and you may do a 16-hour day and it's like I couldn't make my morning workout or thing, but you just still be like, no matter what, my kind of non-negotiable is I'm going to get it in
Have to.
sometime during the day or night, even if it's at 8 at night or 6 in the morning.
You gotta go. Like,
Is that kind of the key to somewhat of the, because people assume balance means your schedule is always the same. But when you're at this higher level, high performance stuff, it's not like that, because you're solving huge problems that one day may take, you can't stop for 12 hours or something.
right? And you got to just make it a non-negotiable to just get it done. Whether you have to move it around in your day, but that's what it's become for me, is just making it a non-negotiable.
I like that. That's a great thing for people to understand right there, is do something. Even if it's not a gym, go for a walk.
Yeah.
Like, go for like a 20-minute walk. Like just do something to get your body active and moving and get some of those endorphins releasing. Pickleball is, we were talking about, I always thought it was just for old people, but then I played, and I used to play tennis too. And I'm like, this will be a joke. And it's like a mixture of ping pong and tennis.
Yeah.
But what was the other,
Paddle.
oh God, what's that? Racquetball.
Racquetball. Yep.
Which I haven't seen play. That used to be fun too. But you do a lot of little short sprints. So you actually get a workout. There is some of those old dudes that just always know the perfect spot
And
to
they
hit.
don't have to move much.
Yeah. So I give them credit, but not me, dude. I'm like diving and throwing my thing,
sure.
and I get a heck of a workout without even realizing it. And it's
Definitely.
so fun.
Dude, and I just got back from Spain. I was there for 2.5 months with my girlfriend. And
That's awesome.
that first month that I was there, I actually had the biggest, increase in sales and the biggest month of my entire career just a few months ago while I was there. And
I think I wrote you while you were there too.
Yeah, you
just
did.
about a regular work thing. And then I was like, wait, is he any different time? But then again, within 5 minutes, I'm pretty sure you replied.
Yeah. And so the biggest thing there too was even though we had a 6 hour, it's 6 hours ahead over there, wake up, first thing I'm doing, we're going to the gym. Like that was again, a non-negotiable, some sort of activity to get the brain flowing. And there we go. We could still hit those milestones.
That's so important for people to understand. And also, we'll get into the other thing that you're doing, which is awesome. But also, people understanding too, when they think about because they assume you just have this built-in thing where you can take on all this stress or emotional intelligence mixed with street smarts. But what they don't understand is really like each different level equips you for the next level. That's what people mean by the process.
Yeah.
It's exactly what dude from Goldman Sachs told you in the taxi that day. Like literally keep doing what you're doing.
Correct.
Because the blessing about working your way from the ground up is if you just go from here to here without having these skills here, then that's where you see these kind of like overnight successes, which are pretty rare, fall down pretty quickly because you're not equipped to have those tools to deal with those different levels of stress and adversity at that higher level.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And you just keep gaining experience and knowledge as you go on. $25 million in charter sales. Like I look at that number today and I think back to, a couple years ago thinking, could I potentially hit that number? It seemed so far
Was
out
it
there.
just you that hit that?
Just myself.
Oh man, for a minute
Yeah.
I thought that was like your quarterly. So
That
what?
was-
So what's the company at now?
Company's doing a lot. We're on track for like, I think 80 something this year.
I think 80 million.
Yeah.
I think he told me that. And when you started, what was around what?
It was
Just I know
I think I would
I
have
know
to-
you're not
yeah,
perfectly,
I would have
and don't
to-
worry about it. You're not making. I know you're just estimating.
yeah,
this.
estimate. I mean,
But
when I
like-
first started, maybe like under $1 million. Under $1 million.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's inspiring though, man.
Yeah.
So you have done this year or your whole career?
In my career, 25 million.
Which is incredible
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
25 million in all your different sales
it's
combined.
all in charter sales.
So no one. So I didn't remember to ask you this before. If it's cool, I definitely want to get the owner and some of the founders on the show because I could already tell by their mentality as an owner. Totally different companies, but it doesn't matter. You can learn. Leadership is leadership, and greatness is greatness. Plus the fact that he's already built something and sold it.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn from all that. But the core values, the stuff that the freedom they give you to, just before we got on the show, you like, this person's going to pay me in crypto.
Yeah.
Like in the form of Tether, like all this, without getting too deep into all that for
Yeah.
everyone. And obviously your owner isn't like in this stuck mindset of like, oh, we don't mess. Like he comprehends that that's going to translate to $1 and it's going to end up paying.
Yeah. Like, don't ruin the sale with a no
Yeah.
if you can make it happen.
Yeah.
That's
Probably a cool client that just has all that crypto to be able to pay for that.
yeah. It's
And I know
awesome.
we don't talk about who they are and you wouldn't mention it, but that's awesome. That's
No,
fun.
for sure.
But he gives you that freedom. So is that where also the mindset is? I'm wondering like where the ownership part comes into play. Is that like something they offered at the beginning? Like if you make it here, we'll give you some like percentage options, or did that just kind of come down later? Or are you allowed to even talk about that? I don't want to get like you in
I would
trouble or anything.
say it was like mutual negotiations and just
Okay.
being in the right spot and the performance that I had amounted to over the years.
So I'm trying to help people understand another part of your mindset too, of you weren't feeling entitled, but you also were able to show your worth, and you felt like it was good to have a conversation about, and I imagine in a healthy way,
extremely healthy.
about this is what I like about you, Jordan. What I want people to understand is so many people wonder why aren't I getting this, and they're not asking. And I don't mean asking like I'll have team members come up to me and it's like, I've been here for a year. We should get do I get an annual raise? And we're like, well, is your performance better than it was a year ago?
Mhm.
Or are you the exact same? And by the way, we don't do that annual. We have a thing where we do attitude plus time plus performance.
Nice.
So it's not just the time you've been there. It's also the performance and
Definitely.
attitude we factor in too. So there could be some people that have been there 4 months that could be making more than someone that's been there 8 months. It all just depends. But I imagine you're coming to the table, which a lot of people would think they shouldn't do that. Of you're kind of like bringing some options to the table in a healthy way.
Definitely.
Is that kind of right?
Yeah, that's correct. And I think providing extreme value is
Mhm.
what's going to get you to usually where you want to get. And, I did just that. When I first started, I wrote down pretty much everything that I was learning on a day-to-day basis. When I first started, they just threw me right into the fire. And so with that comes a lot of responsibility and understanding, what's working and what's not working. What words am I saying that are maybe, making people put their shield up and put their guard up, right?
Mm.
What are some of those trigger words? What knowledge can I refine to make them feel more comfortable knowing that I'm an expert that's going to fly their family, Because it's more personable than just, the business transaction. Like there's a trust factor that goes along with this industry as well.
So you have a characteristic that we talk about in our culture all the time, is to have that business owner mindset, even though when you're not the owner, to always look at yourself like you are, like that intrapreneur, to where you're always, it's not like the owner or the person above you is like, Jordan, you need to start making a notepad and seeing you're already looking at it is how can I improve that. And by the way, like as an owner, that's why the lady Danielle, who's amazing, who's our head director, makes more money than people that have their MBAs that have applied to work for me. Nothing against having an MBA, but totally similar mindset. Same correlation of just kept putting the work in, wants to figure stuff out, and takes the time to do it without someone having to constantly, of course, people should teach you and we're always elevating, but you're also taking on that ownership type mindset.
Definitely. And it reminds me of what you had mentioned to me about, what was it? Ultra curiosity?
Oh, epic curiosity.
Epic curiosity.
Yeah. Yeah. There was, and then let's definitely get into there's a great dude. I think it's Ken Coleman, who works with Dave Ramsey's team. And I met him actually I've had him on the show twice. Jeez, I forgot about that. But he's interviewed all these amazing people through Dave Ramsey's events. I'm just talking from like Mark Cuban to like George Bush, both the George Bushes, or what was his dad? Both the presidents, many presidents, all these Mark Cuban, all these like Kobe Bryant, all these super high performing people, business owners. And I remember asking him, I'm like, of all these people you've interviewed, and it's tons, I'm leaving so many out, like what's like the main correlation that they have? And he's like, like without even thinking, he's like, Mark, like every one of them has this like epic, which I love how he said that, like epic curiosity. And he's like, what I mean by epic curiosity is like, they're never afraid to ask anyone. It could be the president asking Jordan, oh, how do you guys do that with the aviation? And you guys have those other plants where you're subcontracting them out and getting fuel, and just like curious of like, how does that work? And they all, and they weren't afraid they didn't try to act like they knew everything. They were like intrigued by all, and that's the way I'm wired. That's the way. But some people think, well, if I ask this, it might make me look, or that's not in my lane. And it's like, no, having this different like epic curiosity is such an important factor. One of the other ones was like a maniacal obsession too, by the way.
Really?
But yeah.
I like that.
But the epic curiosity was like right off the bat.
That one hits home. Yeah. Epic curiosity.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always trying to understand why certain things are working the way they are, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's
it's like a puzzle.
For sure. You just want to solve it every time.
And I'm intrigued. I'm like, I'll be at places, and I'll be at like restaurants and stuff, and I'll be looking, thinking like, okay, how is this? We're in this building. There's like 500 people. How is it so quiet? And I'm looking around, like I'm thinking, I wonder what they use for the soundproofing. I wonder but then what's cool is I've been able to then use that for like our buildings in Dreamshine. With that epic curiosity, the owner will like explain, I'm like, oh man, we have this huge building and it's super loud in there. You put those things in. So it can cross correlate in so many other areas
For
too.
sure.
But it starts really with just like wonder.
Yeah, it definitely does. You know, the other cool thing about private aviation, like I was just mentioning, is that personal relationship that you have with, you know, your clients. Like I wouldn't be here today on this show if it wasn't for private aviation and, you know, the connection that I was able to make with you. So
that's facts, because we're blessed to get hundreds of inquiries a week,
right,
for people wanting, and I'm so grateful for all of you. It's just the time's limited, and a lot of times it's a guest that I'm like, oh, I just read their book, or I want to connect, but it's through connections. A lot of the time, the more I got to know Jordan, I'm like, I could see he'll be a cool fit. And then you ask, you're like, dude, how is there time now for us? It worked out. We ended up doing 2 shows. You guys won't see the first one, but this one's better.
Yeah. And then, you know, at the end of August, I got invited to fly to Argentina. I told you that.
That's right.
Like
On one of those big jets.
Yeah, big Challenger 604. My client invited my girlfriend and I to fly to Argentina, Bariloche, which is like the nice part of Argentina where you can go skiing.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
their summers have snow. So
I didn't even know that.
yeah. So we're gonna ski over there for a couple days and then go meet her family and stuff. But
That's so cool.
just another example of, you know, the client relationship that you can develop here versus.
And they're just hooking you and your girlfriend up with that.
Yeah, completely.
Oh,
hey,
man.
jump on board.
Tell them your dude from the podcast is going to join you guys too.
Literally.
Let me one quick second. So yeah, anyway, jumping on there's other things but we were just talking. So I just took a quick second, everyone. Usually my phone's off. My wife and daughters are in Thailand for part of my daughter's graduation, but anyway, they're flying back and we were just talking about how long that flight is. And I was asking them like, because I've done that before. And I'm like, that would have to take a huge private jet to go that far.
Yeah.
And then you were telling me you were working something out for China, like one of the.
Yeah.
I felt like Trump when I just said China.
China.
Do you remember when he? One thing I do have to just randomly say was, you ever watch Dave Chappelle?
Sometimes, yeah.
Dave Chappelle was talking about back when coronavirus was out, and he was like, dude, Dave Chappelle's like, I kind of got a lot of problems with Trump, but I'm not gonna lie. He's like, I was watching him at a press conference, and he's like, when he called coronavirus at one point the Kung flu, he's like, Dave Chappelle was like, he's like, man, I was he's like, man, I'm supposed to be the comedian. Like, what's this guy doing?
That is way
so
too good.
random. Geez, but anyway, I didn't say that. Don't cancel me at one. But I'm not gonna lie, that's funny.
No,
I don't
that's
care what
funny,
anyone
dude.
says. That's
Funny-
hilarious.
funny
People
is
need
funny.
to chill out and laugh.
For sure.
But you were just telling me about a person, just client FaceTimed you using freaking Starlink. And if anyone doesn't know what Starlink is, that's Elon Musk, basically internet, right?
Yeah, it's internet
Dude,
anywhere.
that freaking guy, man.
He's just a different,
Like, for
different
real.
being. Yeah,
Kathy Wood just said he's like the Thomas Edison of our time for sure. Like, I don't care what people say about the politics and all that. I'm like, dude, the stuff that guy has done is unfathomable.
Yeah, no, it's imagine like where we would be if he hadn't created like all this stuff. Like we would have never known that some of these things are even we're even capable of.
Dude, they're
doing
talking
some of
about
these
now.
things.
They asked him about. They're like, why haven't you made electric jets yet?
Yeah,
because he's like, dude, I just honestly, I don't have the time right now. But he's like, I've thought about it. Trust me. And I mean, if you can make a freaking rocket land between you probably know what it was perfectly, and then the other one on the aircraft carrier.
yeah.
But, Starlink. Okay, so what is Starlink on the planes? I didn't even know that was a thing.
So I think realistically, I think the reason he created it is because he is statistically one of the top flyers in the United States on an hourly, basis. Because he has his own Gulfstream G650, and he's flying that meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting,
right?
Just to be able to manage all these companies.
Absolutely.
So I'm almost thinking that he created Starlink so that he can do his meetings and have the same level of internet service.
Wow, he's like, the internet sucks in the sky
while he's flying. He's in the sky
and he's like,
more than
I'm
he's on the
already in
ground.
space. Let's just throw
Exactly.
some of these bad boys in the air.
So
Some of
what
these satellites
yeah.
up here.
what he's been able to create are these dishes. There's two different types. One that go on the faster jets, because when you're moving at a certain frequency, there's different technology that you need to be able to pick up the satellite frequency for Wi-Fi. If you're on a slower aircraft, you can use a smaller dish, and it costs like $100 a month, and now you can have high-speed Wi-Fi on your smaller plane, like smaller moving.
But this isn't like what the commercial uses at all.
No, this is completely separate. It hasn't. I don't think it's been approved by the FAA for commercial airlines yet.
Interesting.
They'll probably will soon enough.
That's so crazy to know that it's part of the speed of the jet has something to do with that.
Yeah.
I would not have a clue.
Yeah.
I'm so curious.
And
Go ahead.
what it's really done too is that
so nuts.
the international international Wi-Fi bills on these planes used to be, and they still are on the planes that have the Ka band Wi-Fi on them. It was like $8, $9, $10 per megabyte of usage.
Mhm.
So you can imagine Wi-Fi bill after one flight using like 1 gig, and 1 gig is like watching, like let's say you download a movie or whatever, like thousands of dollars, like $5,000-$6,000 in Wi-Fi bills. Starlink is now included free. Like most of these aircraft operators are just giving it free because of how low cost it is for the aircraft owner to have on board.
And it's seriously that you can so when he FaceTime you, was it like breaking up?
No, it was perfect quality.
That's
as
insane.
If you're sitting in your living room. I FaceTimed one of my clients while he was on the jet, and it was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
So you can stream with it now?
You can stream, you can play games, you can do a live stream from the jet.
Whoa.
It's just like as if you're sitting in your living room. That type of
because they have the other one on the jets where it's like you can do some text messages and emails or something.
Yeah.
But not like anything close to that.
Right.
Well, especially on commercial.
For sure.
Like even it doesn't matter. You're in business, whatever. Even if you pay for the higher speed.
Yeah, like you could do emails and stuff like that. But no,
that's nuts, dude. I didn't even know that. Yeah, he's trying to make his own party.
I saw that too.
Dude, I'm not even gonna overget it. I have stocks and stuff, but I'm from being a critical thinker, I'm never in the box of like I'm not a Democrat or I'm a realist. So I'm like,
Same.
If I voted for this person and they're starting to do dumb things, I'm not gonna be like, because I'm a Republican, because I'm a Democrat. I look at things like a business owner of like, here's the problems we need to fix. Like you're being dumb. Stop doing this. I don't care whether and I always thought that I'm like, independents always have such a hard time, but I'm like, I'm a free thinker.
Yeah.
So I get what Elon's trying to do. That dude's got so much going on, but I get what he's trying to do, man. Him and Trump.
I like
it's kind of funny, but it's just crazy.
The internal analysis of like what is the right thing. And so that's kind of my standpoint too, is like, I'm an independent thinker.
Right.
In that sense. And
me too.
What makes the most sense, like from a business perspective too. It's like that's also why I really
Which is like, they use the word, I know but this is cool. They use the word pivot of even like with a Fed, because I'm so into stocks and all that. When they were talking with Powell and inflation, and then they raised the interest rates super insanely high over such a short amount of time. And I was just like, this is not, and they're like, well, if he switches now and starts lowering them, it's going to make people think that, he doesn't know that they don't know what they're doing and they're pivoting. And I'm like, that's the dumbest explanation I've ever. Okay, so let's not do what needs to be done because we want people to perceive that we're doing it the right. And that's that bureaucracy mentality that drives me crazy versus being like, hey, we got some new information and we realized what we were doing with the information we had was helping us to get here. And then now we've got new facts. And by taking these facts, we're doing this now because that's going to help us get to the better course where we need to go.
For sure.
It's not like we're failures. That shows you're more competent, not less competent.
I totally agree.
But they won't do it. They're like, well, but then even the people, that's why I don't watch the news, guys. But then they get on there and they're like, they can't do that because that will, and it's like, but that's what needs to be done to fit. They don't want to admit you're saying that's okay for that to, and I think that's when Elon Musk is like, this is so stupid.
It just makes no sense. Right. Yeah.
He just sometimes, I think is so smart that he is a different breed too, to where some of the social skill, some of the like social skills of students, his brain's genius level, like a computer. But I think sometimes it would have to be stressful and hard, dude, because he probably can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes just doesn't know how to say, this isn't, hey, God, like, this is dumb, because he can like see the path, like, but it's all numbers and,
Yeah. And talk about high stress. Like he probably deals with some of the highest levels of stress in existence, at
Oh,
that edge, especially with like security and all that going on. So
his backstory. There's an awesome book on his. I would love to have him on the show one day and share his full backstory from
yeah,
South Africa to being beat up to, dude, how we started his first at 14. Just it's an amazing,
for sure.
never giving up mentality. That dude, Tesla almost going bankrupt. All these, yeah, it's
And talk about work-life balance. He's like a top player in one of those video games, like online, like in the world, like
I
while
and that's
while he's doing all that.
by the way, that helps alleviate his stress, I'm
Exactly.
sure. And that's something else that's important for people to know is understand how you're wired, because so many people are quick to say, here's my 10 things that work for stress or for success.
For sure.
But it's also knowing you, because playing pickleball for Elon Musk might not be as alleviating as playing a video game. But if that helps release that valve for him, then that doesn't mean that's wrong. That helps him to be more productive.
Definitely.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, man, that was cool. Thanks for bringing that up. I had no idea that Starlink was at that level yet.
It's so cool.
God, dude, that guy.
Yeah.
People are so quick to hate and just don't. Anyway, so then this now led to what's Carlos, who was here yesterday, and we'll have some clips and stuff. We got some awesome footage. He came on for a minute. We'll probably be able to get some stuff and shorts we can do from that too. You got, what's Carlos's last name again?
Carlos Dose.
Dose.
Yeah.
Carlos, what's up, my man? Shout out for being here yesterday too. You have this idea to start this other company. I had it written down here. Is it Jet Ed Co?
Yep, Jet Ed Co.
Okay. And basically like help kind of explain what that is to everyone, which is a cool idea that you wouldn't even know existed.
Yeah. So Jet Ed Co, it started off with, me just seeing that, the access to these jets, not everyone has it. You can go and see it on YouTube. You can go look up the planes, but it's hard to actually get inside of the aircraft and see all the different customizations and understand the industry. A lot of the things that I had no idea existed. So I went ahead and, just for fun at first was highlighting the aircrafts and then making a short video and doing a voiceover on the aircraft. And it just got a lot of traction really quickly when I would post these videos.
Wasn't one of them with like the Diddy stuff too?
Yeah.
Which I think is I would watch that.
When P. Diddy first, the whole entire thing, happened, I put out a video like, this is the jet that he used to go from LA to Antigua. This is how much it would cost.
How much would it cost?
I think it was like over $175,000 for the one way. And I highlighted that and I said, like, would you take the same routing? And it just blew up. Like this video got like, I think over 500,000 views in like a week's time, something like that. So then I started getting people reaching out to me and asking like, I didn't even know this industry existed. How do I,
what do you do?
Yeah.
How do you make money?
Yeah. Where did you learn this stuff?
Yeah. Cause there's not like because now it's clicking more, Jordan. Cause in college, they're not like, go to school. Yeah, people know be a pilot, aviation, but they're not like go to school to learn how to work at like high-end private jet companies and be more than a salesperson, but like everything that you're doing.
Yeah. How do you become a leader in the industry?
Yeah.
Some of the questions, So I was like, I've been
so interesting.
I mentioned earlier that when I first started, I was already note taking, like, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And so
you were making the playbook.
I've, without even knowing it at the time,
I love that.
I've built the playbook, and essentially, so I've launched recently 2 different programs. One is, full on one-on-ones, 6-week program to give all the information that I wish I would have had when I first started, to someone else who wants to get into the game and doesn't even know where to start.
That's cool.
So aircraft interiors, exterior, like just airport identifiers, you name the whole entire industry, logistics wise, how the industry works, what type of jobs are available in the industry, all that knowledge grouped into one, and then one-on-ones with me. The other program, which I'm like extremely, extremely excited for, is our JEDCO partner referral program. And that is basically what it will do is teach someone enough knowledge to where they can go and like have a decent conversation with someone that they think can potentially fly private, enough to where they are now a representative of our company. So they are able to go and network, create a client, or
And get like a commission.
yeah, so they would get commission on every time this client flies. They don't have to quit their current job. They'd be able to start, having an extra tool in their toolkit when they're speaking to high net worth individuals and it actually gives them a key to go ahead and be in this position to go and speak to these people that they may never have had in the past.
So like giving them value
Exactly.
versus just like a referral type program, but they're actually knowing what they're top and then telling someone something that they like.
Yeah,
stuff that I've learned, like, whoa, this thing exists. You can do that, and you can have it. Find this plane flying from
so
something,
you're now at a Thanksgiving dinner, and people are asking, "What do you do?" I'm a banker, but I also am able to help with private jet flights for arranging private jet flights. My operations team will handle everything A to Z. So the goal is that like 6 months down the line, they have at least amounted a couple of frequent flyers, if you will. And if they wanted to, if they really love it that much, they can always transition and take their book with them, to continue on, or they continue making money in perpetuity every single time, someone flies that they've built that relationship with.
Oh, so it's like each time they fly.
Yeah.
So then that all interconnects with like Fly USA.
Yeah.
Because they're chartering.
Exactly. So the flights will be operated by Fly USA.
Okay.
And my team, so they have access to a pricing calculator. If someone's like, let's say someone's at a networking event, someone's like, oh, how much would a flight be from like Miami to New York? They can quickly go into the pricing calculator and spit out a ballpark range of like, this is how much it would be on average.
I wonder if anyone else is really doing that yet in this space, because I've spoke at events, I've been, and there's tons of different, because it does cross correlate to sales, obviously, but you're teaching a very, very specific industry that I don't know if there's been like teachable. I mean, I'm not in it.
There is
been
nothing,
honored to be in it, but
there's nothing like it that exists, and it's more of less of a business transaction, but more of a networking tool, I would say.
It's kind of both. Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah. That's a good foot in the door that people wouldn't think about. Plus, it's like freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like you learn about awesome stuff. Yeah. You see these things that most people don't even have access to. Is part of that at a point, like if they connected and did it, do you do like in person and show them some of the stuff at times if something's coming through and they're close by or something, like, hey, we got a jet coming through? I'm just curious.
100%. I think that was definitely something I've been thinking about. Is the goal is to be able to take people to these private airports and like do like a quick tour in person.
That'd be cool.
Show them how these things really look in person versus just the videos. I'm so excited about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we were saying future show we're doing a private jet.
For sure.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, we can get that done.
Did we okay, so people go to let me make sure we let them know, and we'll make sure I get this. We have this in the show notes, but for the Jet Ed Co, is a website the best? Is like the Instagram the best? And then let's make sure we do it for like Fly USA and stuff too.
Certainly. So
because it's cool, everyone, even just for fun to look. I've gone on the stuff and just watched some of the reels and all that. And it's just cool to even see it.
Yeah, it's at Jet Ed Co. So JETEDCO. And we'll link that in the bio. But before I continue with that, I wanted to quickly mention Carlos's role in the company.
Oh,
as well.
Yeah.
So Carlos, he's my growth partner, but also one of my best friends growing up.
Good looking out.
Yeah, and he owns 12 Creative, which is like a creative growth strategy agency. They do, marketing, personal brand development, and so on.
Carlos was with us all day yesterday, by the way. Great dude. We spent like half the day together, ate together. Awesome dude. And he showed me some of the stuff he's doing with the media.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
What we've been able to, build from when he jumped on board in 2024 is just incredible. The amount of growth we've seen, from views to people reaching out to engagement to just like having an actual name You know,
Does he own the other the media company, or
Yeah.
does he have a partner, or is it just him?
He fully owns the
I meant
media
to ask
company.
that yesterday. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
So that'll be awesome. So I could see, yeah, we talked about having him out on the future about him
definitely.
and his mom being kidnapped, which is insane.
Insane.
However, so he has this awesome media company that does tons of things.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it sounds like funnels and just all different levels
Landing
of
pages, everything.
editing. Yeah, I didn't even realize it was that much.
Yeah.
Media, marketing, like everything, building. Okay, so he's got layers to what he's doing, high end stuff, but you can tell he's really passionate about it. Because what I liked about him is like when he learned about what we do at Dreamshine for people with disabilities, you could see he was like, oh man, I'd love to do like a documentary on that, because I like just like real genuine.
For sure.
Yeah, it seems like a good dude. So you guys have known each other for a while, and then have you?
Yeah, since high school.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So then are you guys like 50-50?
No, so he's 30/70 partner.
Okay. Which is still cool because he has a full company.
But he has a full company, and then I get, access to all of his services, and he has like so much attention to detail that it's really worked out, extremely well. So.
And how long's that been going for? How long ago did you guys start that?
Well, so we had started talking about it like mid 2024. So, about a year, a little bit less than a year.
Okay.
And we're just ramping up now. Like these products are launched, and we're excited. Yeah. That's
awesome. So yeah, check that out. Check out Carlos. What was his? Do we know his Instagram?
Yeah, his is 12creative.io.
Is it spelled out 12?
Yeah, TWELV.
Okay.
Creative.io.
So I mean, just tell them, well, check all this out, because show them all some love. All doing great things. It's cool stuff. And yeah, and we'll be collabing in some of the clips and stuff that we do with everything too. Anything else you want to throw in there?
No, I think that's it, man. I got everything I wanted to say out there, man.
Yeah, well, we got more in this time.
Definitely.
That's for sure. And like I was saying before, everyone, so many questions a lot of you ask me right in. These shows are long form conversations, not scripted on purpose, because the answers to a lot of the questions you're looking for come out in exactly these types of conversations. Neither one of us are getting paid to be here right now. I'm not getting, actually, aren't you giving me a free flight? I'm private for life, I heard.
You're getting heavily discounted.
That's going to be the next, I wouldn't mind having you guys as a sponsor, man. That would be awesome.
Be so cool.
I'll take that. But we'd have to have the, but anyway, no, for real, as of now, we're here. It's reciprocity. And this is given back. The people that take the time to watch this, it's longer to watch it, but you learn, man, okay, there's no magic to do it, but this can be done from every different background you come from, where you are. It's doing these same things, just putting in the work and not being even when you're afraid, still asking, like through the fear.
And I think sticking it through, like the hard times, the late nights, the extra hours, they all pay off in dividends. Like it is, I can't preach that more, that putting in those extra hours and being uncomfortable gets you to that comfortable spot.
Then you have a new comfort zone until the next level becomes the new normal. Then there's always another level.
Yep.
Which is an amazing lifelong journey. No, this has been awesome. That's some good advice. I had something I wanted to throw on that, but my ADD just took me to another tangent. But yeah, you just keep continuing to go out of that comfort zone, and you feel the fear. It doesn't magically just disappear, but you keep pushing through it. And that was it. That stickability, man. What a great thing to lead people with too is, I said once, like, one of the only things I was ever really good at is never giving up. And by never giving up, it doesn't mean keep doing something that's not working and not give up. But it's like, once you got a goal and a mission and stuff, is like, I can just keep going. Even when I'm exhausted and tired and it's I'll just keep going and not stop until we get to where we need to go. And it's not easy at all, but that's literally like what it takes.
That's the whole point.
And so many people give up, and it's hard. They'll give up along the way and they'll make it far, like maybe to year 4, 5, 6. And if you just, every person I've ever talked to, that's another thing, is they were willing to just keep going when everyone else stopped.
Correct. Just one.
It's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah, but when you're giving up, it could have just been that one more task, that one more call,
right?
that one more night.
And if you don't give up, then that's how you get there.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, everyone, this has been another phenomenal show. Thank you so much, Jordan, for coming back, everyone. Please, I know there's so many good nuggets in here, and just check it all out. Let us know in the comments what you think. All the information will be there to connect with Jordan, with Carlos, all the stuff they have going on. Fly USA, check out their awesome reels, and never settle, never give up. I want Starlink now, by the way, and keep elevating beyond. Boom.